Vi står här på Activision Blizzards nya huvudkontor i Stockholm och har just kollat in mer Call of Duty Black Ops som vi fick se en del av på Gamescom. Vi har dessutom blivit bjudna på både lunch och frukost och kommer strax ha möjlighet att intervjua community managern för Treyarch som ligger bakom spelet. Och det ska bli väldigt kul. Kolla på intervjun. Well, we're standing here with Josh, community manager at Treyarch.
That's right.
Hi, would you care to introduce yourself quickly?
Yeah, so I'm Treyarch's community manager. I'm working on Call of Duty Black Ops with the rest of the studio, and I'm glad to be here in Sweden with you guys to tell you a little bit about the game.
Right. How long have you been with Treyarch?
I've been with Treyarch for 3 years, so they brought me on for World at War. After they did Call of Duty 3, they really wanted to interface with the community. The community was getting a lot bigger, and it's really turning into a full-time job, so that's what I'm here for. You guys can come to me, talk to me, and make sure that your voice is heard in the development studio.
So you're basically the middleman between the players and the developers.
That's right. I'm the players' lifeline into the development of the game.
All right. Now, in the demo we just saw recently today, we saw a flyable helicopter, which you got to control all by yourself.
That's correct.
Completely no pre-scripted movements there.
That's right.
Now, are there any more vehicles you can play in the game?
Well, we did reveal the SR-71, the Blackbird in WMD at E3. So that's mostly like a reconnaissance. It's a suborbital jet used for reconnaissance during that time period. Beyond those, though, we haven't revealed anything else. We don't want to spoil it. We've created a really, really deep and complex story. We want players to discover that as they play through the game.
All right. Now, with just a quick question, with the chopper, are you able to control it up and down?
No, so that's actually the point. Is the elevation of the helicopter is controlled for you. It's kept at the optimal height, no matter which part of the map you're at, whichever engagement you're in. The AI controls the altitude, and you just control where it goes. So you could fly it anywhere you want within that canyon, and it's going to keep you at the perfect height for whatever you're trying to do.
Right. Now, with the chopper, we saw some destructible environments.
Quite a bit, yeah.
And we saw at least one small hut being blown up in the regular first-person level as well.
Yes.
Victor Charlie was the level
Charlie,
called?
yep.
Yeah. Are there the other huts in that village? Were they destructible as well, or was it just that specific one with next to the AA guns?
Not all of them. So the big hut at the beginning, which you detonated with your C4, that was clearly very destructible. And the one with the AA gun, another destructible building. Not every one is, though, because Call of Duty's always been about telling a specific story and funneling action through specific choke points, and we need to make sure that there's still an overall path there. And if you could just level every building and walk anywhere you want, it would defeat the purpose. So but there are definitely cinematic set pieces and buildings that you think would blow up, they'll blow up.
All right. Now, it's a pretty big game. It's a pretty big production.
Yes.
I mean, World of War was very well made.
Thank you.
How do you keep such a tight schedule with this sort of production? I mean, it's pretty big.
Lots of producers. It's a very big production effort, and Treyarch's got Treyarch's in a great position, a unique position to do just that. After World at War, we refocused all of our studio development efforts on one title. Just Call of Duty. We had a core team doing some downloadable content, but the bulk of it was just Black Ops, and now everybody's just Black Ops. So it's allowed us these resources that we've never had before. So I mean, if you thought World at War was great, we did that with just a third of the size of a team, because we made 3 different games that year. So now we have everybody working on this, so we could have a dedicated, basically a full team working just on campaign, a full team working just on multiplayer, and a full team working on co-op concurrently in parallel. They all have their own dedicated teams, and they get to stay very focused. They don't have to be distracted or worried about the other components of the game. And so it's really just elevating that bar in terms of quality across all 3 major components of Black Ops.
All right. Now, you were in full production when the whole tricky situation with the Infinity Ward
That's right.
came to peace. Now, did you feel any extra pressure after that, or did it affect your production at all?
No, and we specifically, we didn't want it to. It's a small industry, and there's just a ton of great developers at IW. It was very unfortunate to see that happen, But at the same rate, we needed to stick true to our charge, which was finishing Black Ops and making it the best game we could possibly make. So, yeah, I'm sure they're going to keep making great games, though. They're an incredible studio.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned quickly before the co-op part. You didn't have a lot to say, but
Yeah.
would you care to repeat it?
Still don't have a lot to say about it. We're going to be revealing co-op later in the year. It'll be a separate reveal for that. Just like multiplayer, can't talk too much about that today either, unfortunately, but September 1st is the date to remember. That's when we're going to be giving you everything you could ever want to know about multiplayer. We'll be revealing it. So,
About a week from now.
yeah, basically exactly a week, yeah.
Oh, and you spoke a bit about the military advisors you've had on board for the game.
Yes.
Could you talk a bit more about that?
Yeah, so we have our retired Lieutenant Colonel, Hank Kiersey from the U.S. Army. He's been with the franchise since the beginning, Call of Duty 1, and he's been a great resource because he teaches at West Point. He knows pretty much everything there is to know about our military. And so we, for this project, though, needed some more specialized advisors. Particularly with the SOG unit we were covering, the Studies and Observations Group, SOG, we brought in Major John Plaster, who is the foremost published author on SOG. So we had his book, and we really liked what we were reading, and so we brought him in studio, and he got to give us sort of a seminar and teach us how their units operated and the kind of missions. He gave us anecdotal stories about some of the missions he went on with his team. Really fascinating stuff, and so we were able to use that to inspire a lot of the sequences you see in Black Ops. Similarly, we got the other side of the Black Ops story. So we brought in a former Russian Spetsnaz operative, Sonny Bazikas. And Sonny was able to tell us all about their training and their tactics and how they operate and sort of their fundamentals of that fighting force. And we were actually able to use Sonny's input and make an AI type out of the game, in the game out of it. So when you fight our Spetsnaz in the game, they're going to be a much more formidable opponent than I think you've fought before in Call of Duty.
All right. Now, I think I only have one more question, actually.
Sure.
There were the animations were very, very good looking in the game. They were
Thank you.
They were very precise, and including the facial expressions. Could you talk a bit about that?
Yeah, that's thanks to a new technique we're using called full performance capture. So games we've used motion capture for a long time, and we've used facial capture for a long time, and of course voice capture. But with full performance capture, you combine all three of those and you do it in one take. So you have one actor who has a microphone on him and has his face dotted up the same way that his body is dotted up, and he's able to go through his performance of whatever that little cinematic sequence might be. So you saw in Victor Charlie, Bowman taking off his backpack and rummaging through it and handing the Semtex over to Woods, putting his backpack back on. It all looks just so fluid and streamlined, and the way he just sort of glances back, grabs his rifle, says whiskey on me, and it's all just very, very fluid. Before, if we recorded those separately, let's say that there was a line where you're like, okay squad, we got to go over there. That's all natural, where I glance for a second and then I glance back at the squad. That you'll get that with full performance capture. What you wouldn't get previously is that sequence might come out like this. Okay, squad, we got to go over there. And it wouldn't quite be the same because the voice actor wasn't lining up right. And then when you think about the face and how the facial expressions might be, if maybe the voice actor was shouting but the face doesn't look like it's shouting, so just those little infidelities and inconsistencies that will exist if you are doing sort of the old technology, the old technique. So full performance capture really lets those characters breathe and those performances breathe. And so our actors can put a little bit of themselves into the character, which just makes the performance that much more immersive and enjoyable.
All right. Ja, det var Josh från Treyarch Community Managers, och om en vecka kommer vi få reda på mer om multiplayer från Call of Duty Black Ops. Och ja, vi ser fram emot spelet här.